I am not going to tell the person where to invest because it depends on your budget. It depends on your goals. It depends on the types of properties you want to invest in. It depends if you want a visa. You need to figure these things out and then come to us. Our superpower is how to transition that passive real estate investor into an active real estate business owner.
Welcome to the Going Long Podcast. We're back once again to continue to help to educate you so that you feel much more comfortable as well as confident investing beyond your backyard. And yes, I am your host, Billy Keels, and I am super excited about you hearing and taking in today's conversation, especially if you want to understand how you can invest across borders. This is one that is just going to be, wow, it's amazing. So, but before we get there, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. First and foremost, continue to move the podcast up the charts, which is amazing. Thank you so very much for sharing the podcast, the conversations with your friends and family and all that stuff, and also for leaving your honest written reviews as well as ratings. If you haven't done that yet, just take a couple seconds on the Apple Podcast platform to leave an honest written review as well as a rating. Would really appreciate that. Secondly, for anyone who is interested in seeing previous episodes and you cannot find them on your favorite podcast platform, just go to billykeels.com. When you get there, go to the podcast tab and you'll be able to find every single episode ever released. So billykeels.com and the podcast tab, and you'll be able to find it there. And then lastly, those of you who are accredited investors and you want to connect with other accredited investors, gain access to deals that will help you, then send an email to aiclub@billykeels.com. Once again, it's aiclub@billykeels.com, and would love to connect with you. So if you are really looking forward to investing cross-border, you want to build your portfolio even bigger, faster, and you want to be able to do that with a competent team, today's a conversation you're really going to want to listen to. Be ready to take some notes. Be ready to think about some of the different ideas that can help you to, build a team that's going to help you to be able to invest across borders. So today's conversation with Lauren Cohen, which we're going to get to just after this, is one that you're definitely going to enjoy. So it'll be just after this. Are you looking for a way to get to long distance investing success, but not spending all the effort? You want to do it in a way that's much faster and it doesn't cause as much pain? Well, listen, I can save you all of that stress. Just go to billykeels.com/7 mistakes and you can pick up your free PDF to help you on your road to long distance investing success. So you know what? If you are ready to learn how to invest in real estate across borders, like literally across borders, then guess what? Today's the conversation that you're going to want to listen to until the very last word, I promise, because today's guest, aside from being absolutely amazing, is also an international lawyer and real estate expert who's experienced the pains of international living. She also has a knack for helping others to find new ways to grow their profits as well as prevent future setbacks. I know a lot of you want to hear more about this. She's also the president and founder of multiple businesses, including eCounsel Global. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to today's conversation, Lauren Cohen. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I'm glad we can make this happen.
You know what? I'm so super excited, and with your expertise and the things that you know, and just with our global audience, they're really going to love what you have to share. So I'm looking forward to today's conversation. And I want to jump right into it. The thing is, Lauren, I ask everybody the same 5 questions. You're going to get 2 in the beginning. You're going to get 3 in the end. In the middle, I have no idea what I'm going to ask you, but I know your responses are going to be absolutely amazing.
I have no idea what my responses will be. So.
Well, there we go. It makes 2 of them. We're good to go. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So listen, help us understand first and foremost, where do you actually live in North America?
So I live in Boca Raton, Florida, according to you. And I'm originally from Toronto, which does not have, except if you're Canadian, you say Toronto. And if you're not, you say Toronto. And you always know the difference if they pronounce that second T. They're either not a sportscaster or they're not from Canada. So I'm originally from Toronto/Toronto, and I'm now in South Florida and grateful to be here, especially at this time of year.
Yeah, this is wonderful. And by the way, if you're not watching the video version, you probably should look over, because as she's going Toronto, it was really funny. And hopefully you also notice I did ask where in North America. I didn't just ask where you were from the United States. No, it's all good. It's all good. That. All right. Okay, cool. We're cool. Listen, so the other thing is, Lauren, second question is really to help us understand, what is the most positive thing that's happened to you in the last 24 hours?
Well, let's see. The most positive thing that happened in the last 24 hours, it was Valentine's Day. And my son's grandmother actually came in, and I'm going to get to go away for a few days and have a little break, which is nice. I was supposed to go to Cabo for an event. And because of all of the stuff that's happening, that I hear people being detained in Mexico for a week and 2 weeks and this, and I'm a single mom. So I thought, I'm not going to go, but she still came in, and I'm going to get to at least go away and get a little break. So that was that. She arrived yesterday, and then I had a nice Valentine's Day evening. And so all is well in the world.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. So hopefully wherever
and I also signed a new, very significant client. So I'm excited about that too.
Okay. Well, you have anything else you want to share with us?
No, that's it for now.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. So appreciate that. And wherever the destination is, I'm sure you're going to have a blast. And so here's the other thing, Lauren, I give myself this super impossible task, like really impossible. The entire Going Long family knows that it's impossible already. They forgive me in every conversation. So hopefully you will also forgive me because I tried to tell your entire backstory in 2.5 seconds. Not possible. So could you do us a favor? Could you tell your backstory in your own words? The one thing I would ask though, is while you're telling your backstory, could you also help us understand like some of the major decisions that you've made to get to this point in your journey? And then we'll see where the conversation goes between the two of us from there.
So I'm originally from Toronto, and I came here into Florida initially, actually over 20 years ago, 21 years as of this month. And I came here right before 9/11. Actually, I take that back. I came here in the 90s originally, and I lived here for 3 years, and then I went back home. And I came back here in 01. So it's 21 years since I've been back. So I've been here in Florida for a total of 24 years. And when I came back, it was right before 9/11. And needless to say, we were in a startup, and it didn't really work out so well because 9/11 happened. So life changed, and we had to change and pivot. And my old boss actually ended up absconding my personal funds. And I was like, how did that happen? He's a lawyer. This isn't supposed to happen. And it did. And I had to pull myself out of it and find a workaround. And I worked in-house, and I struggled through things. And then I kind of fell into writing business plans. And I started writing business plans for visas because obviously I'm an immigrant myself. Well, not obviously, but it's not as obvious as some people. Like you're probably an obvious immigrant there in Barcelona, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a gringo accent and everything. So,
well, not when I'm speaking Spanish, by the way, but that's okay.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
So I kind of had to find my way, and through a series of inopportune and opportune circumstances, I fell into immigration law. Why? Well, here's an interesting story. So I got married in December of 2006, February 2nd of 2007. My then husband was expeditiously removed from me and put into immigration jail on the way back from our honeymoon. He was subsequently deported. And here I was in the process of getting my green card with a husband that wasn't able to come home with me. And that was what catapulted me into becoming an immigration expert. And so again, inopportune and opportune circumstances, through my ex-husband's deportation, I fell into immigration, and he was denied a green card when I got my green card because he was inadmissible. And I pursued a path of helping others avoid a similar fate, really. And it turned into, there's been a series of ebbs and flows, as there is with any business. But most recently, because I am Canadian, and lots of Canadians are desperate to find new avenues, whether it be to invest in real estate or to move out of Canada because they're frustrated with lockdowns and rules and all of that, and cold, of course. And so I'm in the right place at the right time, and I help them find their solutions, whether it be to invest in US real estate like you do, or Costa Rican or Mexican or Belize or wherever. We find avenues and paths. I just reviewed a document for a cross-border transaction between an Australian company and a US company. And that's what I do. And I love it because it gives me the opportunity to get to be involved in some really interesting transactions and really help people to find solutions to the challenges that they face. Because when you're investing in your home country, it's challenging enough. But as soon as you cross borders, those challenges are magnified 1,000,000 times. And anybody that doesn't pay attention to that is going to end up paying the price later. Like you said, instead of planning ahead, But often people wait until something happens and then it's too late, and you're going to end up paying a lot of money in costs and legal fees and taxes and so on. So I always believe it's much better to plan ahead. And, what is it that Benjamin Franklin said? A failure to plan is a plan to fail.
Yes. So there's a couple of different things. And a lot of times when because you're focused on solutions, you've had real life events that have also helped give you focus to then put your momentum behind figuring out a real life problem. And then you also see business opportunities from there, right? But one of the things that you mentioned is something that resonates a lot with me, because me being, an immigrant living in Spain and wanting to invest in the United States, there are a lot of times where people, how do I say this? So like you can select the right way to do things, and that usually takes more time and effort and potentially investment.
Correct.
Or you could try to do things the quick way. Right?
It never works, because the quick way is always going to cost you more time, money, and effort later.
Yes.
It seems cheap and cheerful at the beginning, right?
So this is the key word. So first and foremost, so this is a lot of the focus today is really around crossing borders, right? Usually I talk about long distance, and sometimes long distance can take the form of you live in Boca Raton and you want to invest in, Seattle or something like that. But today we're also thinking it could be long distance that way, but we're literally going to go across border. Right. And so what are some of the main challenges when people are knocking on your door, like, hey, Lauren, I kind of messed this whole thing up and I need your help. Usually what are some of the things that would have probably been easy to recognize, or somebody may be thinking, hey, I should probably just do it this way. And you're here today to give them the reason to say, don't do this. We should probably talk in advance.
Yeah. It's challenging at times because people don't want to listen to what they don't want to hear. And they want simple, cheap solutions. They don't want to spend the time and effort to get things done right. Listen, we're all guilty of it. Even I'm guilty of it from time to time. I'm impulsive and I like to do things. And sometimes I make mistakes, usually to my own detriment as opposed to my clients, because with clients, I'm much more of a planner. But, we're sometimes our own worst enemies. And clients, especially when they see a deal in the US, there are deals now still, and people see, oh, look at that. I can buy a property for $50,000 in Ohio, let's say. Yeah, but what does that mean? And what does that $50,000 property carry with it? And what are you going to do with it? And how are you going to buy it? And how are you going to finance it? And in what entity are you going to invest in it? And where are you from? How is that going to affect you tax-wise? They don't pay attention to all those things. They just see this $50,000, especially when they're coming from Canada, where the average price of a property is about $700,000, right? Per door. So they're coming here, $50,000. What have I got to lose? You got a lot to lose. And so the challenge is, I have a download that I'll be happy to share with you, the top 10 most common mistakes people make when investing across borders. And one of them is, finding that whoever paid the most for the Google ad, okay, I'm going to hire them. Or, I'm going to set up an LLC through some, volume-based business, which has zero interest in what that will mean for you. Or joining a coaching program, how to invest in U.S. real estate, that doesn't pay any attention to what that means for you as a resident of Spain or Canada or Israel or wherever. And so there's all of these different elements that come into play, and people don't do proper due diligence. They just run before they walk, and they don't have a strategy, and they're going to pay the price. You might get away with it once or twice, but eventually it catches up. And then what happens, Billy, is that it will catch up and they'll get mad because they're like, well, what do you mean it's going to cost me this to fix it? Well, I have to undo the damage. We can't just build on it. We have to fix it. It's kind of like when you have a quicksand or a sinkhole on your house. You can't just keep building over it. It's just going to push it down more. You have to fix the base of the problem, fix the foundation, what caused the problem in the first place, and then build from there. And it's always going to be more costly to do it after. And I'll just throw one more thing in. I was always an in-house lawyer before I built my own business. I always worked as corporate counsel. Mm-hmm. And corporate counsel is always looked at as a cost center rather than a profit center. But the reality is, when you look at it from the perspective of what does this save you? having corporate counsel, having an in-house lawyer work on your team can save you so much money because you don't have to pay somebody for litigation to represent you, to deal with all of these challenges.
Can you repeat that? I know you just said it, but it's super important to you. Like, honestly, if you were running on a treadmill or you were cooking, like, just listen to what Lauren's getting ready to repeat, because it is super important. This is about an investment mindset, abundant versus scarcity, trying to get out of things. Sorry, can you please repeat that?
Yeah, so I'll repeat it in a different way if it's okay. There's a lot of books out there like Badass Sales and How to Get Sales. And, they always say, worry about the legal stuff last. Okay. And when you're selling, legal is like the last thing you want to think about, making sure you have the right structure. But I'm going to tell you that putting the right structure in place from the get-go is going to allow your sales to skyrocket that much more, because you'll have the foundation that you need, rather than getting to this critical point in your sales when you're like, wait a minute, my contract isn't airtight. Wait a minute, I pulled that from the internet and I just copy and pasted it, but I didn't really know what it meant. Or, you're exposing yourself to potentially huge liability. So here you are about to reach your 7-figure point, and you're not going to get there because you don't have that structure in place, those protection documents, so to speak, that structure that you need to make sure that you can scale your business. Because without the proper foundation, you'll never be able to scale, no matter how many sales you get, because they're going to run. They're going to be like, oh, this company is messed up. They'll see it. They might get that initial payment, but it will all fall apart. Building on a sinkhole never works. Fix the foundation first.
Yeah, and one of the things that I want us to be very, as a Going Long family, as we're listening to Lauren, is, so we're talking about you, like saying that you need to make sure that you have someone. At the same time, when you have, and Lauren, just correct me if I'm wrong here, or give me your point of view, is what I guess I'd like to say. When you're explaining that you need to have someone so that you can do these things, it's not that you as the investor or you as the business owner are going to do this. You have someone on your team who is actually competent in being able to review these contracts or connect with the right person that's going to help you, just to make sure that people understood exactly what you were trying to say. Is that accurate?
Yes. And I'll throw something else in there. Okay. At least on a daily basis, I get asked a tax question. I'm not a tax expert, right. But guess what? I have a tax expert on my team, and not a single one of my clients does anything if they're starting with me from the get-go and looking for a business or an investment opportunity. I don't even let them get past the front door until and unless they speak with my cross-border tax guy.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because I am not the tax expert, and your tax liabilities could end up costing more than your investment. So you need to speak with that person, and I defer to him for every single question related to the structure, especially like my cross-border tax guy is Canadian and American license. Okay. But we have tax experts that deal with Spain, that deal with Israel, that deal with England, certainly England, Mexico, you name it, because people are coming in from all over. And if their tax issues are not handled properly by somebody that understands cross-border issues, they're just wasting their time. Yeah. Now, the beauty of my team is that it's a team, and I am not an expert in Nevada law. I'm not an expert in Texas real estate law. What I'm an expert in is knowing how to pull in the team of experts. And if that expert doesn't work, we move on to the next. Okay. I am the general contractor, and under me are all of the amazing contractors that I have built relationships with for years and years, and will continue to.
Right. And so one of the things, because we have a lot of people that are in software sales that listen to us and stuff like this. So the best way that I can talk about or translate what you're saying is, you have to have that person who is the generalist on your team that understands who are the other specialists that we need to go to when we need to get a structure put into place, a sales strategy put together, so that we can actually make this beneficial for whoever our client is. But you are not the person doing the work. You make sure that you have the generalist on your team who knows the specialists that need to come in at any given point throughout the process. Wow, don't you just love this conversation? This is amazing. This is fantastic. And so just really quickly, I just wanted to remind you, for those of you that are looking to create more options for yourself, get there faster, and do that with long distance investing, make sure that you go to billykeels.com/7 mistakes to avoid so that you can avoid all those mistakes, get to your goals faster and sooner. Once again, that's billykeels.com/7 mistakes to avoid. Now back to the conversation. I guess probably because of the podcast, we have people that are listening from all over the globe and things like that. It's probably once a week I get a call from someone. Hey, listen, I just had a call last week from someone who lives in France and was like, hey, listen, they didn't say Ohio, but it was very similar. Like, hey, listen, I want to invest in, where are you investing, or where would you be investing? Because here in where I live, and this was, I'll just make up the city, but I'll say it was in Paris, right? They were in Paris and they were like, hey, well, everything here, there's no cash flow. This is a appreciation market. So, but I saw that the properties were $100,000. What should I do? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. So it sounds like also one of the things is, as you start to go cross border, a lot of it will depend on what is the investment that you would like to make. So for that person, maybe Lauren, you could help us to understand. And I know it's probably how long is a piece of string, but when does it start making sense for someone that wants to be more of an active role? Like, let's say that they want to start to build a portfolio of properties. Is there a particular complexity and or currency amount? I don't want to say dollars. I mean, maybe you can give us your point of view.
I don't think so. I think it's any stage. I think it's as soon as they're looking at their first property. And it's important, if you're a person of means in your home country and you're investing in the US, you want to make sure that you have the right structure, or you can end up compromising all of your tax issues and so on. So tax, legal, everything. So you just need to really, at the end of the day, the key is consult early, consult often. It doesn't mean you have to listen to everything, but at least make sure that you're not compromising the integrity of what you're doing, because otherwise you're just throwing money into the wind.
Yeah. And as you said, everything comes out at the end. And so, because one of the biggest expenses, or if not the largest expense in your life that you will probably have, which is why I love that first thing you said is go to your tax expert, is typically the tax, right? Is typically tax, which is when you look at cross-border taxes, it's something that's absolutely key. And most of us don't know enough to be able to be efficient nor proficient, which is why it's important to make sure that you have someone on a team. I would say that probably if you're going to buy a house, it'd probably be better served looking in your home market. That's just my opinion. If you're looking to build a portfolio, then this is where you need to actually be on the phone talking to someone like Lauren in advance to say, hey, listen, I want to actually do things on a larger scale and I need some help. I don't really know where to get started. Speaking of which, who is the person when they are reaching out to you? What are some of the things that they need to be clear on as they reach out to you so that it is a productive conversation for both of you?
So it's always best if they have an idea of where they want to invest, because often people are coming to me with a million different ideas. I want to invest in 16 places. I want to invest in this. I want to do this. And it's impossible. You have to have a clear direction, or you can set up a consult to discuss that. But I am not going to tell the person where to invest, because it depends on your budget. It depends on your goals. It depends on the types of properties you want to invest in. It depends if you want a visa, because my signature program is called How to Immigrate Through Real Estate. So there is a way to get a visa to live and work in the US as a part of your real estate investing with an active business, as opposed to passive real estate investing. But again, you need to figure these things out and then come to us. We can't figure them out for you. We can figure out, our superpower is how to transition that passive real estate investor into an active real estate business owner. And we can help you with all of that. But at the end of the day, it's your business. Just like with any business plan I write, it's your business. You're the one that has to defend the business, manage the business, coordinate the business, have the business model. I cannot build that for you. I can help you. I can guide you. I can steer you in the right direction. I can get your entity set up, but it's not my business. And if, let's say, you are getting a visa, you're going to have to go to the consulate and have an interview about your business, not the business I created for you, because that's my business, right? When somebody says, can you write a business plan about, I don't know, a light switch patent? I'm like, yeah, I can write a business plan about anything. If you have the business and you have the model and you can help me with the financials, we'll give you the templates, we'll give you everything you need, but it's your business. It's your real estate investment path.
So that makes a lot of sense. And this is also helping people to get clear on exactly how you can help them. One of the things that I would even say is it's not just your business, it's your life. So do you want Lauren to develop your life strategy? Probably not.
No,
I'm sure you would do. I'm sure you would do it. Yeah, you know what I mean. So and the reason for that is also it's your life. Like, you have to be the leader of your life and your life plan. And maybe today you are in that job where you're making a great salary and you're thinking about investing in the U.S. market. And it is the question, how can I do that? And you've given a couple of the ideas. Like, so Lauren, and I'll go back to the example that I had the other day. That I have every week, probably more than every day. And so today I'm working for someone else. I have large bonuses that come in every
I thought you said you quit that.
No, yeah, I did, but I'm just saying as someone else,
okay,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm pretending to be someone else.
Okay.
And they're in a job. They like their job. They have excess capital. They like cash flow. They are listening to my podcast twice a week, and they really want to take more active roles, but they have a job. So it's not a matter of if they can or can't, but it's how can they then build an active business to be eligible, for example, in what you were talking about in the US for a visa program. That's a conversation that they could start having with you or your team initially, recognizing, yes, they have a full-time job and they have excess capital and they're willing to understand what they need to do to potentially have that, have access to the US market. Is that correct?
I mean, like, the beauty of, so there's always going to be a difference between somebody that's on the fence, that's like, in between. Like, it's funny that you asked this, because I just found out this morning that one of our clients, it's a husband and wife, they're in Northern Ontario, and we're going to Orlando to do a few different events. And one of them is a bus tour with one of my other clients that they're going to show Orlando properties. We have a lot of focus in Orlando. We present every Tuesday and Sunday. Love you to come, but not tonight because it's 8 p.m. our time. So maybe next week when you're in the US. We do these Orlando presentations because everybody wants to invest in Orlando, and there's some great opportunities. Well, anyway, I just found out that this husband and wife are coming into this bus tour in Orlando next weekend, and I haven't met them in person, and I'm really happy about it. And the wife just left her 9 to 5, I think in December. The husband still has a job, but that's the beauty of a husband and wife team. I'm a single mom, so it's just me. But when you leave your job, when you make that transition to being a full-time real estate investor, it's a game changer, right?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Because until then, you're just skating. You're just kind of dipping your toe a little bit. And it's great to have the passive income, no doubt. But until and unless you make that jump, you will never be able to be, you can't be a full-time real estate investor, and you will probably not be able to get a visa if that is your goal, because you need to make the commitment. So it's kind of the difference, and I'm not being critical, please don't take it this way, but it's the difference between being interested and committed. And when you're committed, obviously, we all need income. I know that myself. Like I said, I'm a single mom. I'm the sole breadwinner. So let's just jump off that ship as soon as you can, will ease the transition by getting you enough properties and maybe having like some turnkey passive income lease back guarantee, which we, as I say, this is why we love Orlando. It helps you get into that mindset of being that full-time real estate investor. And it will be a game changer for sure.
And so, yeah, this is one of the things. Once again, it's how do you do something? Once you are in the mindset, or as you say, Lauren, that you're committed to actually making that change to start to go beyond your business and living your life,
right?
Then it opens up lots of possibilities. Exactly. And when you have the wherewithal, not just the energy, but the financial means to be able to do that, that's when you need to be building a strategy, a coherent strategy, and making sure that you're doing it in the right way. So
coherent strategy is so important, and short and long-term goals, because for example, and again, I'll come back to the visa. A lot of people start by saying, I don't want a visa. I don't need a visa. I don't want to be in the US. I don't want to be back and forth. I don't want to run my international business. Like, you think about it, you're in Spain, you're investing in real estate in the US. You happen to be American, so it's a lot easier. But if you weren't, you would need that visa, because otherwise you're going to have challenges at the border. Yep. So you have to think about that when you're starting your investment path, because you need to plan ahead to make sure that you set up the right structure, that maybe one day you will pave the path to a visa, or maybe something along those lines. So it's important. I have a very, very big client who originally said to me, I don't want a visa. I definitely don't want a visa. Major real estate investor, okay, in Canada up until now. And now we're working on a visa. That took about a month for them to change their minds. And that's what happens, because you realize the value of having this. Visa does not mean I'm moving to the US. It's not a green card. It's a visa. It's an opportunity. As a matter of fact, it's funny, Billy, because I have a colleague, his name is, doesn't matter. He's a lawyer, originally came from Toronto, set up an immigration law practice in upstate New York, and spent the first year of the pandemic, and I'm not sure, honestly, if it was Barcelona or Madrid, and you might know him. I'll tell you his name offline. Nice guy. And he has a visa. He's a E2 visa, a non-immigrant visa, and he can be wherever he wants in the world. It's a free pass, basically. Just build a business. So I'll get off my soapbox.
No, not at all. So one of the things that I want the Going Long family that you are, so this is why it's important. I talk about this all the time, Lauren. Like, once your mindset starts to change and you realize that it is there's 4 simple steps. Like, what is it that you're trying to achieve? Like, what benefit, and why are you trying to accomplish it at a personal level? Where are the locations that can provide you the highest probability as a step 2 to get whatever benefit that you're looking for? Then after that, like the 3rd step, it's critical. You have to have the team that understands what it is that you're trying to achieve, because they will help you to architect what it is that you're trying to achieve. If you don't have the team, people wouldn't have even known about it. I mean, you cannot be an expert in everything. It's not possible, right? It's just not possible. So just the ideas that you're giving, as you and I are talking right now, like you're giving a perfect example why someone needs to have someone with your expertise on the team, just to give you ideas and then figure out what is the path to get to whatever the benefit that you're looking for is.
Correct. And you may not know the benefit.
Well, man, you know what you're looking for, right? Is that what you mean? Or you may not know how to get there specifically.
Mm-hmm. Both.
Yeah. Because
you may not know what the benefit is going to be at the early stage.
Right. But at least you have a general idea. And then you may also have other benefits that come as a result of it. But, I've had members of my team, because they're experts in what they do, when they present a certain proposal, they present things I didn't even think about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this completely aligns. And we could actually kind of get this result, A and B. I was just looking for A, but wow, there's an added benefit of being able to get B too. I'm so glad you're on my team. And I'm so glad that I made this investment with you, because if I wouldn't have, I'd still be trying to figure this out 15 days later or 15 years later, or whatever the case may be. So it's, so this is, you've given us a couple of ideas of things that we can be doing, but like the thing is, and I want to keep talking to you forever, Lauren, but the thing is, we kind of have to get to the Going Long final 3. And the thing is, we never get to the Going Long final 3 unless you tell me, as today's guest, that you're ready to go to the Going Long Final Three. Are you ready?
We can go on the final three.
All right. I knew you were ready. You were born ready like 5 times. So here we go. We started with you over in the U.S. now, well, south of the border of your home. And now I'd like to bring it to this side of the Atlantic, right? And so I would love for you to share with us, what is your favorite either European city that you've either visited or is still on your bucket list to visit?
Well, okay. So on my bucket list is definitely Lisbon and, doing the Azores and all of that. I have not done that. That's definitely on my bucket list for sure. Want to do that, Amalfi Coast and all of that stuff. So I've been to a lot of places, but I haven't done that trip yet. My favorite city in the whole world, well, it's a toss-up between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Both have,
you have to pick.
Both have unique appeal. Tel Aviv is a party city. It's a real city. It's bustling. It's crazy. The traffic is insane as in any other major city. People drive like they give you this much space. If you have not been to Tel Aviv, let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart, especially if you're driving and especially if you get lost and especially if you don't read Hebrew, because then you're in trouble. Thank goodness I read Hebrew, but it doesn't really mean a lot if I don't know what street I'm looking for. And anyway, so Jerusalem is my favorite city because of the spirituality and all of the amazing history, and everywhere you walk, you're walking in 3,000 or more years of history, and you're feeling, for me, my ancestors, and just it just moves me every time. The whole country of Israel is as you can see from my face, is my favorite country in the world, and God willing, I'll be there in just a few months. Twice actually this year, if all goes well. So my son and I have spent many summers there, and I'm hoping we'll be able to spend the summer there this summer. Which
is fantastic. So here's the question though.
Yeah.
You've talked about Lisbon, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv.
Which is my favorite? Well, I don't know,
is your one bet?
I've been to those places. So I'm saying it's a toss-up between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv.
All right. It's a toss-up. So
and I think it always will be in terms of my favorite places.
Okay. All right. So we will do this. Here we'll we'll figure it out. Just check the show notes, everybody, and you'll see what her favorite city is. So the second question of the Going Long Final Three really has to do with a lot of things that I've seen from really successful people. And Lauren, I consider you to be someone who's very successful as well, impacting lots of lives, had lots of life experience. And hopefully you'll agree with me. Like one of the things that I've recognized with really successful people, and one of the reasons that they tend to be more successful than everybody else is because typically they make the right decision the first time, and then they're able to accelerate did I just say that? I think I just said that. I think I made a mistake. That's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's a mistake that I make on purpose. It's a little bit on purpose. So here's the thing. Everybody makes mistakes. Successful people, they don't get it right the first time. They actually make a whole lot more mistakes than most people, like a whole lot more mistakes. And the thing is probably 30, 40 times more, but they do one thing very, very differently, Lauren. And that is every time there's a relevant mistake that someone who's successful makes, every single time they make that mistake, a learning opportunity, whatever you want to call it, they stop, they learn from that, and then they put different strategies, tactics, and actions in place to minimize the probability of that exact same thing happening again. So today I would love for you not to think about the problem or the mistake or the learning opportunity or whatever you want to call it, but what's the one lesson that you know that the Going Long family needs to hear today to minimize the probability of something happening again in the future? Boom. Get a coach. Very simple. Love it. You heard it here.
Work without a coach.
Love it. Get a coach. There you go, family. And the third of the Going Long Final Three, and this is to help to fill our brains with knowledge. What is one book that you would recommend to the Going Long family today?
I always refer to this book. And at the end of the day, no matter how many books I read, this is the book that always resonates with me. And I happen to have had the pleasure of spending a few hours with both the writer and his amazing wife, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, and all versions thereof. The E-Myth for realtors, real estate professionals, lawyers, just learn from it. You need to be able to delegate and delegate smartly and know what you're delegating. I don't like delegating without knowing how to do whatever it is I'm delegating. But the E-Myth, you can't run a business without it. It's the true, I think it's the first major entrepreneurial book that was written and is in multiple languages. And it's the E-Myth Revisited, you name it. Read them. Listen to them on Audible. Do yourself a favor.
Do it. The E-Myth, Mr. Michael E. Gerber. And without a doubt, it's a phenomenal book, and it will also be included in the show notes. Lauren, these conversations fly
and my
by.
book, of course, too. Don't forget.
Well, of course, but that's going to be in the show notes.
Yes.
We know your book is going to be in the show notes, and you're going to get to tell us a little bit more about it. And just because you've also got a cool list of things that you're going to tell us about in just a second. Because like, as we go through these conversations and I'm thinking about the things that you have lived in your own life, the 24 years that you've spent on 2 different occasions in Florida. And as you're looking to solve your own challenges, you've also recognized that there are business opportunities. You're helping other people to be able to not only build their businesses, but really build their lives, and doing that across borders. Mm-hmm. Borders are great, but you don't have to stay within the borders. As long as you have the team that can help you to navigate so that you can ultimately live the lifestyle that you want to be able to live. And the fact that you're sharing this deep knowledge that you have and this being able to really be the center point to help people to get to the lifestyles that they want to lead. I know that the Going Long family is thinking to themselves, how do I get in touch with Lauren? How can I find out more about what she's doing, how we can help, and how she could potentially collaborate with us? Help us understand, what is the best way for us to find out more about you, about your companies, and anything else to connect with you?
Well, you can do many things. I have a brand new bot that we just launched, AskLaurenESQ.com, ask LAURENESQ.com. So if you have questions or you want direction, visit our bot. We literally launched it like Friday, I think.
Awesome.
And it's pretty cool. And it puts you into are you in the real estate bin? Are you in the immigration bin? And it's fun. It's not perfect, but you'll have some fun with it. Additionally, our new website that recently launched, investingacrossborders.net, not .com.net, investingacrossborders.net. And you can reach us by email at, the easiest one is investingacrossborders1@gmail, investingacrossborders1@gmail.com. You can literally find us everywhere with this Investing Across Borders name and brand, on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I'm very, very proficient on LinkedIn. So we're pretty available out there and easy to find.
All right, fantastic. Especially Going Long family. We're going to include all these in the show notes. So don't worry if you didn't write it down. We'll include it there. And all you have to do is click a link, and you can either go to AskLaurenESQ.com, or you can go to the website that you talked about.
I'd love to see your feedback on it.
Okay, well, I will go over there. Plus, you got to give me a name of somebody as soon as we finish the conversation here. So I'll go over there and provide you with that. So go there, Going Long family. And also, the one thing that I do always ask every single time, when you go to LinkedIn and you do connect with Lauren, make sure that you give her the reference point, the context that you heard her here. She invested her time to help you today. So just help her to know that, so that the two of you can continue the conversation. It will make things much more efficient.
It's always much
for the two of you.
If I have a point of contact.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is fantastic. We're good about that here at the Going Long family. So with that, listen, Lauren, I really appreciate you investing your time with me and the Going Long family. So thank you very much.
Too.
All
it's
right.
been a pleasure. I wish you safe travels tomorrow.
All right. Perfect. And just give me 2 seconds. I just want to say a couple things to the Going Long family, and then we're out of here. So Going Long family, listen, Lauren gave you so many different ways to contact her. She gave you great ideas. Definitely take her up on reaching out to her. Be ready, be efficient, be productive. And I'm really looking forward to welcoming you back on the very next conversation. So until then, go out and make it a great day. And thank you very much. Wow. Don't you love hearing from top-notch experts in the field? You know, when I was getting started, I really wish that I would have had access to such experts. And even more, I wish they would have given me like a really simple list of things to follow so that I could have gotten to my goals much faster and been much happier even sooner. So that's why I've created for you the 7 things that you should avoid in order to be successful in long distance investing. And you can pick that up really easily by going to billykeels.com/7 things to avoid. And also, if you liked today's episode, don't forget to leave a 5-star review. I'm looking forward to seeing you on our very next episode, so go out and make it a great day.